Play North, the Manitoba Games show. Manitoba Games powered by Manitoba Hydro. Never thought I'd say that again.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. And are we still powered by Manitoba Hydro?
We still are.
Okay.
It's an awesome thing.
It's good. I'm Bruce Krentz along with Murray Kissick. My sweatshirt is faded.
Yeah, mine
a little banged up. Look at that,
Yeah.
little pilly up top.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming on 2 years since the Manitoba Games, which is hard to believe. I didn't think we'd be doing this again. We had so much fun with the games when we did do it that I just love the fact that we get to do one more. Nobody likes cleaning up from a party. And that was like the greatest party Thompson had seen. And I know we were probably a little more enamored with it than anyone else because we were at the heart of it. But it really was a great party.
It was. It was a great time. It was something the city needed. Certainly with the announcements from Vale in regards to smelter and refinery things coming down. And, but to get 800 plus volunteers and the time we put into it in a short period of time and the faith that the city people had in us, I guess, maybe not necessarily at the beginning, but when it happened, walking around, and it was just an awesome time. And even after, it was still a great period of time. And now we're going to have another great period of time.
For sure. I was buzzing. I'm still buzzing from that, and it was an amazing event. But after a big party, nobody likes to clean up. You've hosted a couple good parties at your house, some when you were there, some when you weren't. I've hosted a few, and you wake up the next morning and you just think this sucks, and just about everybody's left. You, this time, cleaned up after the party.
Yeah, it was a bit of a cleanup. I'll go back to a quote. I remember my son saying, "I'm not having a party anymore. It's too hard to clean up." So whatever that might be, it is always the hardest to do. I don't care what it is, whether it's any kind of event, and it's always a difficult part. But it didn't end for a lot of us. Kudos out to our board and executive, Dave Martin, our games coordinator, all those people. Their job was done. Yeah. And then it was left to basically five of us at the end of it. Your brother Mike, Manisha Pandya, Todd Harwood, Sandra Ross-Hitch, and myself. There is always something to do. And anybody that's been in a business or trying to sell a house or anything, it's not always complete in one day. And it's a process. We knew this from the other games it had. It's easily an 18-month time period at minimum to get into that finalization, and now we're there.
We're there, and we finally cleared up this rash. I know my brother's been part of this, and every once in a while he texts me like, "We got another Manitoba Games meeting." It's like a rash that he just kind of couldn't get rid of because it's not fun work anymore. I mean, the buses have rolled out of town, although we have some great news that's come out of it. But I know you guys kind of slugged through it, but I think the cream's done its job. I think we're done now.
Well, I'm going to tell you, it's a fantastic thing, and on Monday, February 3rd, presentation City Council. The physical legacy that we left behind, Bruce, of $262,000. Like some example, the bleachers we're sitting
That's
on,
why we're here, yeah.
In the TRCC and the other things around the community and with local organizations that helped, participate in that, like in Mystery Mountain and all the other sporting venues that did that as well. And they were the benefactors of that, which meant also the youth of our community and that long-time legacy. The other interesting fact was, through Friends of the Games, the Tim Johnson spearheading that, we got an influx of $103,000 in just cash alone, $200,000 plus in VIK, value in kind, which really pushed us to a surplus, which I am blown out by, of $160,000 that we're going to be able to put back into the community in various things.
Which I'm the same as you, blown away, because I know going into the games there was a lot of fear about, are we going to run into a deficit and can we really get the games done? And we were confident all along. You're right, Tim and that whole fundraising group always said we can do it, but there were some days when we thought, I'm not so sure. And so then to come out of this with that much extra cash is really another feather in the cap of the games and going to be so great for our community.
It will be, and I'm going to get to that in a minute about where some of that money is going. The other part was they did an economic impact study. They interviewed 400 people, none of them from Thompson. It just lucked out that way. And the economic impact study was a benefit to the city of Thompson of $1.3 million. Right? That's not only where they stayed, but also where they ate, what other services they use within our community. And so when you look at physical and financial legacy of approximately $420,000, the $1.3 million, we're very close to the $2 million amount that came into our community and benefited local as well as just a little bit outside of some of our outlying communities as well.
That's crazy. So the only benefit to hosting a party at your house is a few cans, bottles left over. Doesn't usually amount to $2 million. This was a party worth hosting.
It was absolutely was. And I think Sport Manitoba was a little surprised, as we were at first. I mean, I thought if anything of a profit, it might be maybe 40,000 or whatever, but we had some great deals happening. We had some good things happening within our food services. We had some great things happening within the school district of Mystery Lake. We had a lot of things where people stepped up, local businesses, private individuals that did a lot of things to make it an event that it was. And some outstanding things happened with that. And so we, the five of us that were left, we looked and we had already had ideas of where some of the money was going to go. I am a firm believer of a lot of money to a few groups to benefit as many people as possible, as opposed to little pieces of money to hundreds and hundreds of groups,
Yep.
and nobody really gets that benefit. So just off the bat, right? I mean, right away we've had 35,000 went to the school district of Mystery Lake, and the reason it went to them, first of all, in all the games that I've been participating in, schools are always used. They're used for the villages. They're asked to move their March break. A lot of things is asked of them, and they really don't get a lot back in return. So before the game started for us, I went to the phys ed teachers and I says, what do you want? And 5 of the 6 elementary schools do not have electric backboards. They have to get underneath and winch them, which is still, and that was when I was at Westwood in 81 to 90,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and it's a safety factor. So they're all going to get electric backboards to wind down and up, and that'll be a great feature for them. And then that's 30,000, and 5,000 of that is going to go to new portable bleachers in the mezzanine in the high school.
Oh, it's so time.
So that, yeah, I mean, and not only that, the ones that are there now don't meet the safety standards, and the caretakers have a heck of a time with them. So these will be just like the ones we're sitting on, where they'll be movable, a lot larger, or like the ones in the GB actually, and they'll be movable and they'll be a lot better, and they're getting them closer to their goal for that.
Yeah, that's dynamite.
It's going to be very good. Another thing we're going to put money towards, we're giving $20,000 to the Thompson Community Foundation, and they have a requirement in their own funding. That fund, they can only give out 10%. No, sorry, it'll be $1,000 a year. So that they'll give out, and that is to groups that are looking for funding for youth that have a difficult time participating in sport. So I'll give you a quick example. If there's a family that approaches minor hockey, and minor hockey says, okay, we'll help you try to fund, you know, fees to get you into minor hockey, then they would apply to Community Foundation, and then it would be a process, and then they would be able to get that back to them. So we want, and that's, so if you consider $20,000, then you can give out $1,000 a year, you know, and it'll continue for a period of time if, you know, makes interest on it. So that's a fund that we thought we would touch there too.
Excellent. Couldn't be better. You did the presentation to City Council. How else are we getting the word out on this stuff?
Well, this is what we're doing right now with Shaw, and of course going through Thompson Citizen, contacting Ian Graham, and then this itself will be on YouTube, and people are watching on YouTube. It's the only reason they know they're seeing it. But as many ways as we can, and I think that's the idea behind it. And so we also looked, when we're dealing out the money, to clubs that are still participating with their sport. Wrestling was a new one, for example, in the games. Wrestling is still happening. So, and Lyle knows, I was talking to him already, and today they're going to get $1,000 from us, which will help them with the rental fees and everything. And interestingly enough, they wanted throwing mats. And I talked to Tara Warren, and Tara Warren says, I happen to have some older mats down in the basement. So just that alone. So Lyle now has a couple of throwing mats for his guys to increase their capability. The $1,000 will help with rental, clinicians that they can maybe bring up and stuff like that. So that'll work out. Thompson Minor Hockey and Skate Thompson, the figure skating club, never asked us for anything. They felt they didn't need anything. So those two are going to benefit by $7,500 each, and it's going to go for minor hockey. It's basically going to be, so any kid wishing to be a referee doesn't have to worry about paying for it, doesn't have to worry about buying his outfit. You know, Thompson Minor Hockey has the ability to continue that with their youth coaches that want to upgrade. The minor hockey will decide how much of that fund per person that wants to do it, but that's what that will be for. Figure skating, the same thing. They have a lot of girls in there and a couple of guys that wish to upgrade their coaching, and they have to pay out of their own pocket to go away to get that done. Thompson Figure Skating, talking with Megan White about that, they're going to look at that too in regards to how they can help their kids get better coaching to come back to help with the youth in that regards. Gymnastics they need another roller mat. They're going to get $5,000 towards that. Mystery Mountain was still going strong. They're going to get $5,000 to help them with upgrading of their facility again to keep it going and keeping it top notch, of course. And anybody that's loved the weather this winter as opposed to last winter may have been out there and already seeing the benefits of being out skiing. And then, of course, the Alberta Curling Club is going to get some money too. They give free rentals to the high school. They give free rentals to their junior program, and to help them with that, because it's heating and employees coming in and do the work and stuff like that, they're going to get some cash from us as well to keep that going for the youth of our community. And then the city itself has already benefited. They, of course, had an agreement with Sport Manitoba. They put up $75,000 cash plus $75,000 towards capital items. They've gotten that back, and in just what we did with physical legacy and stuff. And now we're looking again, where's the best place now within the city that we can do things. So talking with Carol Taylor here, the rec director, I had her put together a wish list, and of course I told her on the top of your wish list will be try to improve the heating in the Gordon Beard Arena. That's kind of our number one priority. New lifeguard equipment, new pool toys, stuff for the special needs people, so that they don't have to worry about that aspect, that the games will provide for that particular part. In all of those cases, including Carol's wish list, it all goes towards the youth of our community and the facilities that are being used. So I think that was our goal, number one, a directive to make sure that not only is it a long-lasting legacy, but it will always impact the youth of our community.
What an unbelievable list. I hate to keep harping on it, but when Fensky knocked on your door and asked you to take on the games and to be a chair, do you ever picture yourself being able to make that announcement? I mean, it's not your money and it was a team effort, but what a crazy list. It
was absolutely crazy. I admit, he came to and I'm sitting in my back step in the back door and he's talking to me. And I says, but Dennis, I'm going to Mexico. And he says, well, you can always do that.
We can work around
change the dates. And so, I didn't think it and was not sure. And, and I said, well, I'll get back to you. Go and talk to my wife. And Monique just said to me, says, come on, it's something you like to do. And so I went in and we got some great people. It was unbelievable. I can't, because Manisha hanging in there with the financial part in the busy time that her business has as it is, and then Mike and Sandra and Todd, and we all wanted the same thing, we all have some, it wasn't differences, we just had certain things that everybody wanted and we worked around it and it all came together and it worked out wonderfully. So within this next 2-week period, everybody's going to benefit from the games, and to those people who thought that we weren't going to make any money, well, we did, way more than anybody would have thought. And it's a nice thing to remind people of what happened basically 3 years ago, I guess, when people were starting to be asked. So,
Amazing. Giant thanks to you and to all of the volunteers. Dauphin's coming up this summer, so, we wish them the best of luck. Hopefully 2.5 years from now, they can deliver a list like this as well. And I know we met them when they were up here. I feel like they're in great hands.
They are in great hands, and being on the Games Council, they're going really well. They're going through it really, really well. And just recently, Niverville has been announced to be the 2022 Winter Games. Well, they're getting a brand new facility alone.
They're such a growing place, lots of young families.
Yeah, there's just a couple of things where they got to go to outside communities, which isn't a bad thing. It's just a fact of life, and I guess for me, it's easy. It can be done. You really just have to get the community behind you, and you have that, then you're laughing all the way to the bank. So that really helped.
You're good. Thanks again to you and all of the volunteers. There's nothing left, I don't think. What kind of little celebration do you guys have when you sign? I don't know. What do you do? You sign off? Do you burn the documents that made the committee?
Well,
how do you? What's the very last step?
Well, there's a $60 fee for a dissolution. There is a process. We do sign off on it. The checks have to clear, so people, when you get your money, put it in the bank right away.
Step on it.
And so when the check's all clear, we get that notification, and the city will want that to happen really quickly because Sport Manitoba holds back $10,000 until everything is cleared, and then that money will go to the city for what we've designated to before, and then that's it. You know, Sandra Ross Hitch is in Winnipeg. She's retired to there. She just had an operation on her ear, so she can't travel to be up here for the city presentation. So I'll go have a glass of wine with her down there.
Absolutely. What a way to wrap it up. It's kind of sad to say this, but for the last time, this is Play North, the Manitoba Games Show. For Murray Kissick, I'm Bruce Krentz.